Time is critical when it comes to treating a stroke. KCCI's own Laura Terrell learned that firsthand when her husband suffered a massive stroke in 2023.
And Laura is sharing this deeply personal story for National Stroke Awareness Month.
Riding his bike on an Iowa trail is one of my husband's favorite things. An avid athlete who loves the outdoors, Sean was thrilled to start training for his first RAGBRAI 2 years ago. But on June 2nd, 2023, that training came to a screeching halt when he woke up one morning with double vision.
I remember trying to look at myself and my eyes in the mirror, and I couldn't look at myself in the mirror and see both my eyes looking back at me.
A trip to urgent care turned into an ambulance ride to the emergency room.
I remember the ER doctor saying that you had a small stroke.
A scan revealed a small tear in an artery in Sean's neck, known as an arterial dissection, something we didn't even know was there.
What I've been told is that that is not uncommon for people to experience those. They usually heal themselves on their own in a short amount of time, but they can sometimes cause blood to clot as they're healing, and in my case, it caused a blood clot, a pretty big one.
After 3 days at the University of Iowa Hospital, specialists monitored Sean with medication and sent him home. We knew healing would take time.
That was like a huge shock to my system, to not be able to see, to not be able to drive.
At that point, we thought the worst was over. Little did we know, the most devastating part was yet to come.
I had this burning in my head.
6 days after his small stroke, Sean woke up with a terrible headache and quickly realized he could not move.
So I was on the ground, my wife was in the other room, and she came in because she heard me yelling, and she knew pretty quickly that I was having another stroke, probably because of the way I looked.
I found my husband on the floor, struggling to breathe. As each second passed, I could tell he was fading.
I started to get more and more numb on my right side, and I think I started to feel my throat start to close up a little bit and start to lose the ability to talk.
I called 911 and paramedics arrived within minutes. A feeling of relief, but also fear in the chaos.
I was trying to sort of make eye contact with the two paramedics to try to let them know that I couldn't talk. I remember them intubating me in the ambulance in our driveway, and that's sort of the last thing I remember for several hours.
Paramedics rushed Sean to Mercy 1. They told me to sit in the front of the ambulance while they worked on him in the back.
When they got to the hospital, my wife didn't know whether I was alive or dead in the back of the ambulance.
A stroke alert went out in the ER, which meant Sean was scanned immediately. Scans showed a blood clot blocking the main artery in the back of his brain.
It's more or less a death sentence.
Dr. Alan McDaniel was there that day and ready to go. He stood with me in this same hallway and told me an emergency procedure called a thrombectomy was the only hope to save Sean's life. All I could think about was our 2 young sons losing their dad.
That emotion, followed me right into the room.
Sean's thrombectomy took 20 minutes. Dr. McDaniel delivered the news. It was a success.
I remember we went up there and got it pretty quickly, and it was a great day.
Hours later in the ICU, we waited to see how much brain damage was done.
I could open my eyes, and everyone seemed very, very excited and somewhat shocked that I was awake.
We have a large monitor.
Dr. McDaniel has performed close to 1,000 thrombectomies in this room since 2017, a procedure where a catheter is inserted into an artery and guided to a clot to remove it.
As you're doing this, going in someone's brain, you're watching on a screen to guide you.
Yes, I have the TV screen that we monitor.
Dr. McDaniel and Dr. Ryan Cook are the only 2 doctors in central Iowa who can perform a thrombectomy. Both are interventional radiologists at Mercy 1. They say this procedure, which was proven to work back in 2015, is changing the game for treating stroke patients.
What used to be a devastating end event has become a treatable disease.
That's big. That's huge.
Yeah, it's amazing. And Sean was a miracle, but I've seen lots of miracles.
Dr. McDaniels says he can get a clot about 5 times out of 6, but getting to the hospital immediately is critical.
I think people have learned a lot about heart attacks, and they know that if you have chest pain, you go to a hospital right away. But I think they don't realize that, stroke is a brain attack and you need to get to a hospital right away.
Knowing the signs of a stroke can save lives. Be FAST stands for balance loss, eyesight changes, face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. If you experience any of those, it is time to call 911.
If it helps, one person, that's amazing.
My husband decided to tell his story in hopes to spread awareness. No stroke or brain is the same, and his recovery has not been easy.
Part of your brain dies. Just a matter of how much of it dies and how much of it you can get back. And so, for anyone out there, there was a lot of people close to me that had a lot of patience with me, and so I'm very grateful for that.
While Sean still struggles with some cognitive issues like fatigue and retaining information, he's pushed himself physically to finally accomplish that goal of doing RAGBRAI.
Having young kids when I had the stroke was both the hardest thing and probably the best thing for my recovery, because it gave me something to focus on every day.
That's got to be like the most fulfilling part for you, right? Like saving people and seeing the after.
The next morning is often amazing. And you go in there and they have no idea who I am. The only person smiling is usually the family member, because the family remembers what happened. It's the patients, like, who are you?
A virtually unknown hero who has left a lasting impact on so many families, including mine.
This is where I'm feeling a little bit emotional. I'm grateful that he cared enough to really pour his heart into learning how to do thrombectomies and doing them well, because I think mine turned out about as good as they could turn out.
Yeah, it's a lot to share. It's a lot to relive, but I'm so grateful for the opportunity to share, because time is so critical, and that's the message I really want to get across, is that time is of the essence. And I just want to say Dr. McDaniel in those worst moments was not only an amazing doctor who saved my husband's life, but he had so much compassion, and he told me, I'm an optimist, we're going to do this. And I know he saved a lot of other people, and we're just so fortunate to have him in the Des Moines area.
Yeah, in telling your story, while hard and not something journalists do, will absolutely make a difference for other people.
Thank you. We're blessed the way that it turned out. It could have been so much worse. So I recognize that we're blessed and appreciate all the support, because so many people have sent such kind messages. A lot of people can relate to a loved one who's had a stroke.
And Sean looks like he's doing really well.
Yeah. He is. He's worked really hard.
Yeah.
It's not easy. There's still some cognitive things that he'll probably deal with the rest of his life. But overall, we are so fortunate. He could have been severely disabled.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I know Stacy mentioned it, but the strength of both of you to share this story. And again, it is going to save lives. Thank you. And I have goosebumps, and it just kind of it was a roller coaster ride going through that story. But the outcome right now for you guys is, I just, again, thank you for sharing it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Laura.